Comrades, we are live, and I welcome you all to this show, the Red Friday. To the followers and the Ugandans watching us, as I always say, we are here not because we are the best when it comes to discussing matters of national importance. We are here simply because it is our responsibility. It is our responsibility. It is the time. The people whom we elected to plan for our country, the experts, the economists, the legislators, and everyone in this government, whatever they are doing is the exact opposite of what an ordinary Ugandan expects. So their repeated pattern of failures ever since they stepped in office, of course, it forces us to get fully involved. And the time is now or never. We have to redirect our country back to the right path. And today we come once again with this, interesting program, the Red Friday, an online engagement discussing matters of national importance with the aim of finding practical short-term solutions and, of course, long-term solutions to, countless challenges our country is experiencing. My name is JB Muwonge. I'm a full-time people power activist and a strong supporter of the change that each one of us desires. On the panel today, I have different guests from different parts of the world and of course from different tribes across Uganda. And we are going to be discussing matters of national importance. Of course, there is a lot going on in our country that requires attention. A lot is not aired out on those media platforms, but we shall be coming to give you whatever you miss. Today, specifically, we are going to discuss what is trending in mainstream media and find a solution to it. Comrades, I welcome you all. And let me just say this. We are going to discuss, but guys, I want you to be real because the time is now or never. I just want you to express yourself as if today is the last day for you to live. Comrade Samuel Muyombia and some Comrade Edward Abili. Are you on?
Yes, please. Yeah, I'm on.
Perfect. Thank you for being on the show. Comrade Edward Abili from Texas and the Comrade Samuel from Ireland. Just to take you through this, Museveni through the Electoral Commission recently introduced the scientific elections. People Power and other parties, of course, they rejected these joke elections. I want you to take us through this. How can people in the villages vote for someone they have not seen with their own eyes or have not had an opportunity to listen to? Comrade Samuel, I want you to start off this.
Yeah, well, thank you so much, Comrade JB Muwonge, the panelists on this platform, and the Ugandans across the globe. Yeah, as I'm introduced, my name is Muyomba Busura Samuel, a proud Chotelian, supporter of change in Uganda, and I subscribe to People Power because of the ideology our president in the ghetto, that is His Excellency Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, aka Bobiwine, brought into us, the ghetto youths. Having had the question about the scientific elections.
Yes.
There is a lot we need to look at before even we think about the scientific, because first of all, is the EC of Uganda scientific itself? Before we go to the public, how are they going to perceive this information? Let's first ask ourselves, is the Electoral Commission in Uganda scientific? That question, I might not be the right person to answer it, but today, what is in the population and what is portrayed, the commission itself is not scientific. And because there is no way we can have a scientific election without a scientific organizing body. Why do I say that the body itself is not scientific? Look at the processes, the electoral process, like the way they brought it, that we are going to be campaigning through the media platforms. That is the television, radio stations, and the social media platforms we have. Why am I emphasizing that the commission is not scientific? I don't think these people sat and made a research before putting out something on the table of Ugandans. I don't think so. Because when you look at the statistics we have in the Uganda National Bureau of Standards, we have only 33 TV stations in the country, and a few 290 something radio stations. When you move out from the media houses themselves, let's go to the population that can access the internet itself, or they're able to connect in case they have the gadgets. The data from the National Bureau of Standards still and the UCC indicates that by the year 2018, Uganda had about 18 million people that can connect to the internet. And after the introduction of the OTT, that is over the tax, that was introduced by the Museveni regime, which we fought very hard, but still, because we do not have the members of parliament that represents our views, Museveni passed that tax. And you find that nearly 5 million people were cut off the internet because of this tax. They cannot afford the 200 shillings that are charged every day. So how are these people that are disconnected are going to access the information from the candidates? First of all, that's a question to the Electoral Commission. Second question, looking at the population of over 45 million Ugandans, I would expect at least around 30 million Ugandans are above the age of 18. Who would want the information from the candidates that are going to represent them? But out of the 30 plus million, only 18, which was also reduced to 35%. So you find that whatever the Electoral Commission brought on the table of Ugandans, it is really not practical. It's not like, let's just even forget about the word scientific. Let's look at what is practical, what can be applied to an ordinary Ugandan in a third world country, whereby people are living on less than $1 every day. So, as an opposition, who is looking forward to the change Ugandans have fought for 35 years? This is all about taking away the right of Ugandans to make a change in leadership they want. Yes, please.
Yes, the Electoral Commission is taking away the right of a Ugandan. And in your submission, it is impractical in the Uganda setting. What should an ordinary Ugandan do? Because millions of outcries are out there, but the regime, as if it is paying a deaf ear to this.
Okay. This is what Ugandans must do. Our constitution gives us the right to choose the leaders that we want to represent us. What the Electoral Commission is doing right now, it is unconstitutional. Remember, freedom is only for those that fight for it. We are not going to sit and look at our country being mismanaged because we cannot do something. We can do something, Ugandans. This is the time. You know, I always tell people that you cannot walk into the future, but you can create it. So this is the time for us, this generation, to create the future that we want Ugandans, our children, our grandchildren, that will live and be proud of. What do we need to do? Looking at all the circumstances, the poverty that is alleviating our people, we need to stand on our feet and say no to this election. we can defy it. You know, Electoral Commission had all the time or has all the time to consult other countries where elections have been going on and how have they done it. You know, before bringing us into this scenario, they would have first consulted the stakeholders, our representatives. We already have people, Ugandans, interested and say, we want you to represent us in the seat of the presidency. Were they consulted before bringing this on the table of Ugandans? No. So, Electoral Commission, before doing anything or accepting anything to be done, they should first of all go back to the drawing board, bring in all the stakeholders and discuss the way forward. Two, we can try to enforce the public, because this is a pandemic they are saying that is failing them to organize a free and fair election. But what they don't put in their mind, this is a decision that is going to make us suffer for 5 years. And its effect can even go beyond 100 years, because the government that we have is completely out of touch. It has lived its usefulness, and all they are doing is to embezzle our resources. You know, if you can remember, or if you first, wait, let me first bring in this, then you can interject in. Yes, please. If you know, our debt before the COVID pandemic, we needed 94 years to clear it. As we are talking right now, dubious deals in the name of COVID are going on every day and night. I don't know how many years Ugandans will need to solve that problem. So if at all we don't stand on our feet right now and say enough is enough, we need to do everything possible to see that this regime ends by the year 2021. We are going to suffer, and our children will carry a very heavy load on their backs. What do they have to do as an Electoral Commission? Yes, we have, as a scientist, I know the dangers of COVID-19, and I wouldn't love to expose the population into let me call it hell, because a lot of people have died due to COVID-19. But look, if at all we enforce the guideline, the SOPs as given by the health professionals, and say, let's allow the candidates to have a minimum, say, a number of people, say 50 people per candidate. And these people should observe the social distancing, should put on the masks and wash their hands, use the sanitizers. I believe that can make some impact. That these candidates will be able to reach onto their electorates. For example, if they design a program that say, Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu will visit Luwero, he can go with these people, 50 people. They just, even they don't make a rally, just drive through. They go door to door, give out the signposts. But you cannot tell Ugandans that they are going to vote somebody they have never seen, somebody even if they hear our voices on the radio stations and whatever media we can be on, there is a touch you get when you look into somebody's face. When this person is explaining to you why he or she wants to represent you. But God forbid.
Comrade Samuel, on that same issue, let me get a submission from Comrade Edward Abili.
All right.
Comrade, are you there? Comrade? First unmute.
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you very well. Do you agree with Comrade Samuel?
I definitely agree with everything that Comrade Samuel has said, and definitely Ugandans should not buy the issue of the scientific election, because it's another diplomatic way of ushering in the same regime that has ruled Uganda for so many years. I'll just supplement on what he has said. We shall give an example of countries like Tanzania that are about to hold elections. People are campaigning normally. Burundi just ushered in a new president. They did not have a scientific election, and everything went on well and the country is stable. We have the United States of America here. We have campaigns ongoing. Despite the COVID-19, people are maintaining the social distance, people are wearing masks, but campaigns are moving on normally. So I wonder what makes Uganda special. It's just another way of the regime maintaining power, because they know that if they keep Robert Kyagulanyi and the rest of other leaders to campaign from radio stations and TV stations, that's another way of limiting their access to the people. First of all, we should know that these radio stations and TV stations, majority are owned by the NRM members, and also these radio stations are controlled by the Syrian government. So if we subject the opposition to campaign on radio stations, that means they won't be able to reach out people, they'll be sabotaged, and we should stand up in big numbers and reject the scientific election and tell Museveni not to play with our minds. Thank you.
Comrade Edward, before you go, a number of politicians in Uganda, some of them are quiet on this issue, of which majority have said it's not practical, it's not possible. Should we say that their silence implies that they are okay with it? What do we gain from that as a population? Who elected those people in parliament or in other positions of leadership?
I don't think Ugandans are condoning that kind of violation of their human right, of their rights through by the idea or ideology of the scientific election. However, there's a lot of intimidation going on, and so people are now afraid to stand up for themselves, and that's why some of us are here to implore them and to encourage them to stand up for their rights. Rights are not given on a silver plate. Otherwise, if we go by the scientific election, we are going to have a parliament filled with only NRM candidates. We are going to have a presidency which is going to be the same president that has ruled Uganda for the last 40 years, an election that will be rigged and very biased. So we need to encourage Ugandans, and I encourage you all, let's encourage them to reject the scientific election. Thank you.
Thank you, Comrade Edward.
I wanted to chip in.
Yeah, Comrade Emmanuel, you have something to say.
On the same, on the scientific election.
Perfect.
I want to add that the Constitution, Article 62, gives mandate to the Electoral Commission to organize regular, free and fair election. But that same Constitution gives the candidates the rights and powers to consult and hold rallies so that people can understand. So I think what this group presented, that they should reduce rallies, but they can move door to door. I think government should reconsider their position on the so-called scientific election, because already, as you noted, we have incurred a lot of debts internationally. And therefore, they are aware this could be a ploy to eat Ugandans more money, because they know it will be like Malawi, whereby they had scientific election and the incumbent president won, and then courts ruled out that it was wrong, and therefore they had to redo the election and opposition won. But what am I saying? I'm saying we should not incur costs, because election will go to over 40 billion plus for the organization. That means therefore we'll waste time in a sham election, and then we go to court again and have. So to me, I say, let government reconsider their position. Otherwise, this is a chance for us to say no, no. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Comrade Muwonge. Comrade Patricia Namiao, we are aware as people power and as opposition that of course, President Museveni puts all this such that he can secure his longevity in his position. And that being said, I don't think he can put in place what you are requesting him to put, because look, what you are suggesting implies that it's what you want to use in order for you to win him. And he is likely not to put that into consideration. What advice, or what would be the solution, according to you, for this, if all voices of dissent are stepped on?
I did not quite understand your question. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, what I'm saying that, okay, in brief, if Museveni completely refuses to hear the voices and he continues to, say that we are going to have these scientific elections, of which we have said it is not possible and we're not going to be part of it, what solution do you give to a common Ugandan?
This is actually a very, very tough question, and it would actually be very easy if opposition was united. But as we had today, Mugisha Muntu is Alaso, Comrade Alaso is going to be the head of the ANT party, which means that Mugisha Muntu is going to run for president. As we already know, Norbert Mao announced that he's going to be running for president, as well as our leader for the People Power Movement, Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, who I truly believe should be the one carrying the flag. And then, of course, we do not know what Dr. Kizza Besigye is going to do from FDC. So if opposition was united, it would actually be very easy to answer this question. They would all say no to scientific elections and fight Museveni as one. But unfortunately, for the time being, that is not the case. I feel like all our presidential candidates are more interested in becoming president than they are in working together to solve the common goal and the common problem that we have in Uganda, which is removing Museveni. So to answer your question, that would really be up to the presidential candidates coming together to figure out a solution together. But for us as Ugandans, especially us as People Power supporters, we just need to focus on continuing to push for the election and continuing to push Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu forward as the presidential candidate as they figure that out on their end.
All right, thank you. Lastly on this, let me go to Comrade Spadon. I want you to give just a solution in just 1 minute.
Yeah, thank you so much, JB, our moderator tonight. For me, I think it's just the common man that needs to unite. It's not all about political parties. If the political parties, our leaders fail to unite, the common man will unite against this kind of impunity that is imposed on us. Remember, President Museveni himself, before the 1980 elections that were organized by Obote, he warned him, and he said that in case Obote tries to rig elections, then he will go to the bush, and indeed Museveni did that. And by then Museveni was at our age. I just call upon all the Ugandans, the youth, that Museveni of then at our age could not just sit. Guys, Museveni has already tested our patience for a long time. So in case this impunity continues, this is the time. As I've said before, it is either 2021 or never. Thank you so much. That's what I can submit for that.
All right, thank you, Comrade Spadon.
Can I add on something on Honorable Spadoni's submission, please?
Okay, I give you 1 minute, Comrade Samuel.
Okay. In addition to what the previous speakers said, this is a call to all Ugandans that there is no one that will ever fight for us to have our liberation. It is us, the Ugandans, and the time is now. Whether we want or not, Museveni will never give us power on the silver plate. We have to put up the fight. So 2021 is not just a mere election. And that's what is even actually battling Museveni, because he doesn't know how and where we are going. So we have just to tighten our belts and fight. It is either we win or they lose. We don't have anything different from that. This is our generation cause that we have to fight, and it has to pass. So this is a message to Museveni that when you were in our age, you got guns and went and killed more than 500,000 Ugandans in the areas of Well. We are not going to do that, but we shall be on the streets for as long as Byabakama comes up and rig our elections. We shall fight until the end, because we are not going to accept anything other than a liberation, because we are tired. 35 years are enough. We were born when you're president. We've grown up. We've got children. We cannot die when you're still a president. So Ugandans, wake up. This is the time. Speak up if you can speak. Write if you can write, and support if you can give any support in any kind of way. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Comrade Samuel. Let's go to Comrade Joy, all the way from Boston. Comrade Sir, hope you get me.
Yes, I can hear you. Yes, I can hear. Yes, I can hear you.
Before the Electoral Commission announced these shame and joke elections, what they term as the scientific election, there was a ruling for prisoners and the people in the diaspora, actually like you, to vote. And they want you to give